Hey guys, it's Margie again for another movie review. Today's movie review is of the 1986 film Peggy Sue Got Married. This film stars Kathleen Turner, Nicolas Cage, Barry Miller, Catherine Hicks, Joan Allen, Kevin J. O'Connor, Jim Carrey, yes, the Jim Carrey you're thinking about, Lisa Jane Persky, Lucinda Jenny, Will Shriner, Barbara Harris, Don Murray, Sophia Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, just so you know, Maureen O'Sullivan, Leon Ames, Helen Hunt, yes, the Helen Hunt you're thinking of, and Don Stark. It was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, who, as everybody knows, also directed The Godfather and The Rainmaker, Jack, and The Cotton Club. Music was by John Barry! Yay! I love John Barry with a passion! He's also done the music for The Scarlet Letter, Indecent Proposal, Midnight Cowboy, Chaplin, Dances with Wolves. I've done a previous review of Dances with Wolves if you guys want to go check that out. Out of Africa, Somewhere in Time, Hanover Street, and Born Free. Cinematography was by Jordan Cronenwith, edited by Barry Malkin, who also edited It Could Happen to You, Jack, The Rainmaker, Big, The Godfather Part 2, and The Cotton Club. Written by Jerry Lechting and Arlene Sarner, who are a husband and wife writing team that also both wrote Blue Sky, the movie. Produced by Paul R. Gurian, Barry M. Osborne, and Barry M. Osborne also produced The Great Gatsby, the 2013 version, The Matrix, The Cotton Club, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and at least 2 other of the Lord of the Rings movies. Okay guys, so the basic plot for this is hard to explain in a way. Basically, Peggy Sue is, you know, let's say 45-ish. She goes to her 25th anniversary high school reunion and gets, she and her husband are currently going through a divorce, and he was her high school sweetheart. She wins the Reunion Queen Award, passes out on the stage, and goes back in a flashback to her days of high school where she has the chance to either marry or not marry the guy that she married that's now divorcing her. So that's fun. Anyway, watch the trailer. I'm sorry, it seems like recently my plot descriptions have been so bad. Sorry about that. Let's talk about performances. First, we have Kathleen Turner, who plays Peggy Sue. I thought she had a decent performance. I'm not very familiar with her work. I believe I've only seen her in one other film. She was pretty good. I don't really know what else she could have done with Peggy Sue as a character. This performance did not overwhelm me, like, oh my gosh, that was so good, but I don't know what else she could have done with it. I mean, the role was meh. So, she did a decent job on this. Nicolas Cage, I actually really liked his performance. Because he's crazy, he's over the top, he's partially insane, and his hair is out of the world. It's so bad and cheesy. I don't know. I will say this, I thought he did a very good job transitioning from older man to the 25 years back to high school. He nailed that. Nailed it. I mean, because when he's the older guy, he seems like a, 45-year-old dude, and when he's the younger person, he really does seem like somebody that's 18. He changed his voice for this film, and he and the director kind of got in some arguments about that. I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me why he would do that, but it didn't detract or anything. I guess they were trying to make him look like a bimbo, kind of. I don't know. That was just weird. I don't know why he changed his voice, but he did. Barry Miller, I thought, had a really good performance. He plays this guy named Richard, who's kind of the brainiac of the class that nobody wants to talk to. I thought he did really well, and I've never seen him in any other movie, so I was impressed. Jim Carrey actually did really well in this film. Like, I know I probably seem surprised, but there was no, like, antics. There was no crazy slapstick. He just did well in this role and was like a normal person. Helen Hunt is beautiful, and she was in this movie actually. She plays Peggy Sue's daughter, has a very small role, But again, I thought she killed it, but she has like no screen time. The directing for this movie, guys, by Francis Ford Coppola. I like the directing for this. I don't understand really why he took on this project, because it doesn't really seem like his type of movie, actually. However, I will say I think he is the reason why this is not another like Breakfast Club or, you know, 16 Candles type of movie, which I know both of those are John Hughes, and he's obviously not John Hughes, but this is not a typical teen romance, young love story, obviously, because most of the movie, the characters are older, but most of the movie is in flashback, so it could have definitely been 80s, young fun, woo! And it was not, which I thought was great. So, I mean, I love those type of movies, I really do, but this was like a step above for me. So I will say good job to him on that. I don't think there was anything else he really could have done with it. Perhaps other than to make the film a little bit lighter. But again, because it's not so light, it has more substance to it. So I just kind of contradicted myself there. I thought he did good on the directing. I really did. He obviously knows what he's doing, so I thought he did really well on this film. Music by John Barry. I would love to sit here for 10 minutes and talk of John Barry and how awesome he is, but I'm not going to do that. That will be another vlog, hopefully before the next 24 years. I'm going to do like a list of like all my favorite soundtracks and just like blah 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 about those, and just talk and talk, because that would make me really happy. But I'm not going to try and bore you guys with that right now. So John Barry is a beast. He killed it. It's not one of my personal favorite scores of his, but John Barry to me is like John Williams in that even one of his scores that's a little meh is still way better than most people's best score. Just saying. I love John Barry with a passion. I love this score. I really do. The score is beautiful. It's really beautiful. It fits the film perfectly. He killed it. He always does. Like any movie I see that's got John Barry on it, I am definitely gonna want to see it. Pretty much. Yep, that's cool. Alright. I love him. If you're not familiar with his work at all, please go check it out. He's awesome. This is my best recommendation. Do yourself a favor and fall in love with John Barry's music, because it makes me cry. It's so beautiful. Okay, cinematography was by Jordan Cronenweth. I thought it was okay. I really did. I liked how this film is more of like a yellow, red, orange, brown toned film. And the lighting is really soft in most of the scenes. There's not like a lot of bright lighting. It's kind of like a yellow lighting feel. I enjoyed that. I thought that added more to Francis Ford Coppola's objective of making this not just another typical teen 80s comedy romance. The editing for this by Barry Malkin, I thought was good. I like this editing. It did drag a little bit for me, but again, there wasn't a ton of scenes that was like, cut this, cut this. Like, I thought he did very good, and the pacing was good. By the time, though, you get about 3/4 into the film, you're like, okay, let's just see what happened. But other than that, I thought the editing was good. The writing for this is good. I felt like some of it was cheesy. I really did. And, but the characters kind of acknowledge that in a way, and that like Nicolas Cage's character is all like, I love you so much and all this kind of stuff. And, actually he doesn't talk like normal Nicolas Cage. He talks like, kind of, I love you so much. It's just really, I need to stop. Okay. You need to go hear his voice for this movie, because it's very unusual. Anyway, he's like drooling and being all mushy gushy, and the character's just kind of like, this is an old line, like I've heard this 100 times before, which I thought was comical because the viewer is thinking that as well. Now she's thinking that because she's thinking, this is all fake, you're just gonna divorce me in 25 years, but as a viewer I thought that was kind of nice that they kind of acknowledge the cheesiness. The writing was pretty good. I wasn't in love with it, but it was better than a lot of writing, so it was okay. Let's talk about the parents' guide for this movie before we jump into special notes, friends. Okay, for language we have 1 use of the B word, 1 use of the D word, and 2 uses of the H word. We have 5 sexual references and 2 religious exclamations. As far as the drug and alcohol content go, we've got drinking, smoking, and mentioning of the reefer, which as we all know is marijuana. And there's smoking of marijuana in this movie as well, though it's not like blatant, you know, it's like casual and it's not like addiction or anything like that as far as we know. Violence or gore, neither of either. Yeah, so that's cool. And then sexual content, sex is implied between most of the high schoolers are, you know, sexually active, but it's just all like implied. It's not really shown. And then that's pretty much all. I mean, there's passionate kissing, of course, but it's nothing. Like, there might be some cleavage. It's not that bad, especially for an 80s teen romance. Special notes. There's only 2, actually. The first one, and this special notes is stuff that just sticks out to me, so I just jot it down throughout the movie. Nick Cage's hair is something else when he's playing the younger guy. Because it, like, swoofs, like, way out like this, and it's humorous. You need to go see it. And it's like blonde and it's just something. My second note is, that's like so non-critical. Alright, movie. The second note is, the movie is better than average. Touching, effective, but not iconic. I know that sounds like a self-contradiction. This movie is touching and effective, but it doesn't stand out. That's not really what I mean to say. I mean to say that this movie is touching, it is effective, and it does make you realize the importance of your choices and the shortness and value of life. It's very effective in that. Like, she gets a call from her grandmother when she's back in high school. She's flashed back, and of course during those 25 years her grandmother passed away, so she like freaks out, you know, and she just like can't handle it. She's like, oh my gosh, my grandmother is alive. And like she tells her mom, because her mom had also passed away during that 25 years, she tells her mom when she has this chance to go back, Mom, I love you, like, you're a great mother. And that really resonated with me, because life is very precious and we should not take any moments for granted, and if you love someone, you should tell them, because you may never get to see them again, and so on and so forth. Like, that to me was like a gut punch. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. Especially thinking about how, like, the people in my life that I've lost, that I wish I had one more chance to tell them, you know, I love you, or you made a difference in my life, or whatever. But that's what heaven's for, so that's cool. Anyway, I'm just saying that was extremely awesome. Good job to the writers and to Francis Ford Coppola for making sure that that was worked. That's why I'm saying it was above average, especially in its emotional impact and its clear message that life is precious and should not be taken for granted. And I don't know why this film is not like widely watched to me. Like, I had never really heard of this movie before. I kind of had to go looking for it. I watched it because of Mr. John Barry. But it has received good reviews, but it's not like, oh my gosh, you need to see Peggy Sue Got Married. Like, I don't know. Anyway, trying to wrap this one up. Would I watch this movie again? I'm gonna say no. For me, it was a one-timer. I did enjoy it. I got a lot out of this movie, but it's not one I'd go back to. I'm giving this movie 4 stars out of 5, guys. If you love Nick Cage, Kathleen Turner, Barry Miller, or John Barry, or the Francis Ford Coppola, watch the movie. It is worth a one-time watch. Thanks so much for sticking with me through another review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.